Hi, I'm Terry.
And I'm Misty.
And we are
Empowered Women Rock.
All right, tidbit for today. And a handful of people know this because I actually shared it last night at a small group, but it was a small group. So the nerd in me, when I was in 5th grade, and it was probably over the period of a year and a half. Of course, back in the day, we didn't have Google. We didn't have much of anything but those Encyclopedia Britannicas. So for about a year and a half, I read in 5th grade, 6th grade, I read the Encyclopedia Britannica from A to Z. Primarily because there is nothing to do in Fannin, Texas, for those of you who are in the Crossroads who know where that is.
Wow.
And
that is some serious boredom.
Yes.
Wow.
So I should have been on like juvenile Jeopardy at that point because I knew all kind of little facts and things. So that's my nerd tip or tidbit.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to think of which one I want to... Okay.
Divulge.
Yes. Okay, so I used to be like super, super shy.
Nobody out there believes that one.
No, the people who know me, that have known me like a long period of time, yeah.
What changed? How did you
Okay,
transition?
so basically, so you know how like in elementary school, how everybody's friends, right? Everybody's friends in elementary school. And then when you get to junior high, that's kind of like when the cliques start to form and everybody kind of starts to separate. And I kind of grew up very, like in a bubble.
Kind of sheltered?
Yes, very sheltered.
Okay.
So even though I wanted to do stuff, there was there wasn't like a lot of stuff that I did. So when I got to junior high, it was like a culture shock for me. And
junior high in Victoria was a culture shock for you?
It was. Because, at Vickers, I went to Vickers. And we were just like, we were all friends. You didn't have to do any kind of oral presentations then. And then all of a sudden, I get into junior high where every single class is...
You got to speak?
You have to talk, or you have to get up and do a problem on the board. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like, and it was to the point to where I would actually miss class.
Oh, wow.
Like, I'd be sick that day. And I refused. Like, I would refuse. And I would tell them, like, I will not. It's like the whole, Mia on Princess Diaries, how she just, like, had to, like, run and throw up. That
was you?
Yeah. So, no, when I got to high school, I started cheering. Because I went to a smaller high school. And my best friend was there. So, it was easier for me because he was already established there.
Got it.
And so it was kind of easy for me. And then I started cheering and it just became easier.
Got it. Yeah, I never in life would have imagined that you were shy.
Yes, I was. Like hide in a closet. If I could fit in my locker.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah. So I used to be shy.
Today. All right, ladies. It is real talk today with Empowered Women Rock. What we are going to do, and it's actually going to be a 2-part series. So
this is part 1.
Part 1.
We'll be in the same clothes for part 2. So don't think you've already seen this video.
Exactly. But we are discussing things that women do not want to admit. So we are going to pull the covers back on some things out there, ladies, and many of you are going to be able to see yourself in a lot of these things we're talking about. But it's things that women don't want to admit. And number 1, Misty, what's one on the list?
Number 1 is we don't want to admit that we need help. That we can't do it alone. That we're not, Wonder Woman or Supergirl. And we don't want to have to say, can you help me? I need help. I can't do this by myself. I think that women are genetically made up to those words are very difficult to say.
Absolutely. And for those Black women that are out there, we know that is something that really kind of gets instilled in us growing up. You can take on anything. You can handle anything. You know, you don't need help. You just get it done. And that is actually something that I still kind of suffer from, is that it is very hard for me to admit that I need help with something. You know, people laugh because both Misty and I, we both have the Wonder Woman ringtone. And that's, I refer to myself as Wonder Woman, and take pride in doing that. But downside is I try to take on, there's nothing that gets thrown at me that I say, no, I can't handle it.
Right.
I take it on even when I shouldn't.
Yep.
So
she does do that.
So that's the first thing we don't want to admit is that we need help. And that's something that we need to change.
Yep.
Number 2, we don't want to admit that we don't feel well. That, and I'll give, let me check the box on that one. I'll give you a great example. Here about 3 weeks ago, I'm taking Ayana to school, and I literally had a pain that I had never had that bad of a pain before as I was driving. And I know women's heart attack symptoms are different from men. And I've looked up, I know what women's heart attack symptoms are, because I kind of stay high stress situations. And I literally thought I was having a heart attack. I mean, the pain was like in all the right places and the symptoms for what women go through.
And you didn't call me.
I didn't call you. Did I go to the doctor?
No.
Nope.
Because you would have called me if you went to the doctor.
True. But it's a great example. It's just kind of, all right, let me push through it. Let me say a quick prayer and keep on going.
And that's why women's mortality rates for heart attacks are lower.
Absolutely.
Let that sink in for a second.
Right.
Because men, you know, they sneeze and they run to the doctor. And we just don't. So that's why you know that because of the healthcare that you're in, the mortality rate for women having heart attacks is lower than men for that very reason, because we're terrible.
Absolutely.
We're absolutely
got everybody
terrible.
else in front of us than taking care of ourselves.
Yep.
The third thing, now we're starting to get down to some deeper stuff.
Yep.
The third thing that women don't want to admit is that our lives are not perfect.
Yep. It's that whole social media. We have to, you know, make it look as if we are on top of it. And I think a lot of times what that is that's why these women that have like Facebook pages and YouTube channels, and they're like sitting in the pantry eating, you know, a pudding, a cup of pudding, like and you can hear their kids screaming and their hands are under the door, is because I think the reason so many women follow them is because these women, you know, have finally come to the realization that they can't hide the fact that they are not perfect. Right. No one is perfect, because if what is there to achieve after perfection?
There's no more growth.
Yeah.
Right.
And you always grow and you always evolve, right?
Absolutely.
So if that is the case, then there is never perfection.
Correct. But it's hard for us to
women,
to
of
grasp
course,
that.
Of course, because we don't want people to see that we're fighting with our husbands or that our kitchen is a mess, and you know, so our response to that is we just don't have people come over.
Hello, I'm checking the box on that one. The conversation I had with David and Ayana literally this past weekend was, you know, man, we sure need to clean up the house. I'd love, you know, for Ayana to be able to, you know, to have her friends come over. But right now, if something happened and we needed to call the paramedics, Ayana better drag me or David or whoever outside, because I literally would be ashamed to have them in the house. And
okay, but you have to realize too that, because I always tell Terry, I love to organize stuff and clean. I always tell her, let me come over and do it, and she won't let me.
No. Oh,
okay, but this is what you have to understand. I promise you that I let Terry in my house, but she won't let me in hers.
Hers is spick and span.
It is not spick and span. It is not spick and span.
Span then.
Okay, so here's the thing with my house. Here's the illusion of my house. Number one, it is highly decorated. Okay, which you know. So my house is highly
That is true.
decorated.
That
Okay.
is true.
So like this kind of stuff, like decorated. Okay, so you can't when you have this much chaos on the wall, you're not gonna notice stuff. So that's number one. It's an optical illusion. Number two, I throw away everything but mail.
And see, we don't.
I wait till my mail stack is literally like falling over before I do anything about it. But everything else I will throw away. Like if something's sitting there and it's not being used and months go by, it's going in the garbage. And then my kids will be like, "Hey mom, you know, there's like I can't find them." I'm like, "I don't know where that went.
I don't know what happened.
It's gone. It's gone. It's been gone for like 4 months,
So
guys."
now y'all know kiddos where it went to.
But I always tell Terry, "Let me come clean your house." She won't let me.
Meanwhile, in my house, so David will do the
You're not the only one.
So David
Don't
will
tell
do the
her
laundry.
she's not the only one.
David will do the laundry, and he'll fold the clothes. That's his job to, he'll fold the clothes. Well, I or Ayana have to put up the clothes, and I detest doing that. I absolutely detest it, and the reason why is because when he washes and folds clothes, it's not just like one load, and then there's just a little load that's kind of sitting on one sofa cushion. It's like 15 loads, it seems like, that were done. The whole couch, he's got his little cushion. The rest of the 2 cushions on the couch is piled high. The love seat where I sit on, you can't even get on it because it's piled. And who wants to put all that away? I sure don't. So let me tell you what I did last week. Last week, when I say literally, there was like 2 feet, 2.5 feet of clothes that weren't folded. They were laying on top of the love seat that I sit on. I just sat on top of them because I wasn't gonna move. I sat there and David and I watched the news and we talked about politics and we talked about different things, and they're still sitting on there a week and a half later because Terry's not putting it up. So that's my life.
Okay, so
I'm not perfect.
So
Yeah,
so here's the thing. I have this really bad thing where I only put up my clothes like once a week. Okay, so if I wash clothes like 2 or 3 times, I lay them across my bed, and then when I go to get in bed, I pick them up and I lay them across the chair.
Oh, I do that too.
My chair that I sit on to put my makeup on because I have like a vanity. So I put them there. And then in the morning, when it's time for me to put my makeup on, I pick them up and I put them back on the bed. And there's a lot of people who do that. So my son is calling me. I know what he wants.
Talk to you later, Ethan.
Yeah, I'm about to call you back. But yeah, so you're not the only one. So I just wish you would let me come to her house. I would love to clean Terry's house. She could just like sit there and boss me around.
No.
Okay, number 4.
Moving on. So we hate to admit, it's hard for us to admit that our lives aren't
this is a good
what
one.
we imagine them to be at this point in time in our life.
Yes.
And that's one that also hits me as well, because I imagine my life, more so my kind of work and business life, to be something very different than it is now. It had nothing to do with, my family, with Ayana or with David, but I just imagine to be in a very different place.
Right.
Financial security wise, you kind of name it. When I planned my life, 20 years ago, it didn't look like it does right now. And that's tough to admit.
It is. And I can't think of anyone who, I would be shocked. If you're one of those people, that's great. But I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone who can say, you know what? 20 years ago, I knew this is exactly where I wanted to be. I don't know anyone who feels that way.
True.
I'm not saying that there's not any, but
It just doesn't feel good. So I can admit it.
I didn't think that I'd be 44 and, only be 2 years into a business or doing this or doing that. I just I never thought that would be the case. I didn't think that I would marry someone who already had children. I didn't think that anybody would want to marry me since I had children. There was like lots of things that I didn't think. So, the crazy part about that is it has to be okay.
Right.
You obviously can't go back in a time machine and change the situation. So the best thing to do is just make sure that you're doing what makes you happy.
Absolutely.
All right, what we got next?
Number 5, last one for this episode is we don't want to admit that things bother us. and more so when we talking about our feelings, about things bothering us.
Yes. Oh, no, yeah. I mean, I'm like that. I don't, like, the joke in my house is that I don't have any feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I don't, I refuse. If somebody hurts my feelings, I literally refuse to acknowledge that you have hurt my feelings. I refuse. Now, I may go sit in the bathtub and cry for 20 minutes.
Right.
Because you hurt my feelings.
Right.
You know? But it's just we don't want to admit that because I think that makes us feel like we're less than.
Agree.
That we're inadequate or that we're not strong enough or that we're just those type of things. It's not wanting to admit that people hurt us.
Right. Absolutely not. You know, we are told to be strong women and words don't hurt you, and let it roll off your back. Just don't let it bother you. You're so much more than that. And the fact of the matter is that things can be very hurtful. Things that people may say or may do, and a lot of times as women we internalize it. Just like you said, Misty, we don't say, "Oh God, you just hurt my feelings and made me feel horrible."
Right.
We just internalize it. We'll smile and keep on going, but deep down that pain just kind of keeps piling on.
Right.
And so that's something that we all as women need to work on. Acknowledge when something's hurt us, something's bothered us, and that's okay. It is absolutely okay to have feelings and be sensitive to things like that.
Right.
So please let us know. Drop a line down there. Again, this is just episode 1. Episode 2 is we're going to go over another set of 5 things women don't want to admit.
And that'll air next week.
Yes. So, but drop a line down and let us know some of the things that you think women don't want to admit, or maybe some things that are hard for you to admit.
And they may be on our next episode.
Absolutely.
Because we have 5 more.
That's right. So we are glad you joined us. Share this episode because, again, we just try to be real. No pretension about us. We just want to have real conversation. So share the episode. Make sure that you like our Facebook page at Empowered Women Rock. Check out our website at www.empoweredwomenrock.com, and we will see you next week. I'm Terry.
And I'm Misty.
And we are Empowered Women Rock.